Hey guys, it's Yaya Diamond, and I am here. It's another show, and I am so very excited. I'm overwhelmed with just the pure, talent that we have here on this show. Can you concur? Can you agree with me? Hey, we got some amazing talent on this show, and I am telling you, today is nothing but adding on to that talent. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have author Stephen J. Sorry, we have author Stephen Joseph. We have author Stephen Joseph on the line today. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you again for your patience and your kindness, and also for your books.
Well,
Oh,
thank you for having me, Yaya.
anytime, anytime. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I am a lawyer during the day, uh, so I peeled myself away from my day job to be on this podcast, and otherwise I write. I have children's books, and I write about crankiness. So I have first I had a grown-up guide to effective crankiness, the Crankosaurus method, and I just recently released Cranky Superpowers: Life Lessons Learned from the Common Crankosaurus Chronicles, and and I could tell you what makes me an expert. Like I'd say, I'm a lawyer, and I try to explain why people love lawyers so much. The first year of law school, they teach you how to get on people's nerves. The second year of law school, they teach you how to rub people the wrong way. And then the third year of law school, they teach you how to get underneath people's skin. So when you could do all three at the same time, you're a lawyer. And I surround myself with these people, and it gets me to be quite cranky.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Wow. So what should we do if we feel cranky? You know how to get under people's skin.
Uh, I have no idea how to get under. I would never get underneath people's skin.
So what should we do if we get cranky? How do you get out of that yourself?
Well, the thing what I write about in my book is to embrace our crankiness, saying, yeah, it's okay to be cranky, and even with our crankiness, and we discover our superpowers. So so it's not about getting rid of something; it's about embracing it. But by embracing it, see it and even slow it down. It's you don't have to, it's there's a difference between your crankiness and how you affect others, and that internal crankiness that you've come across a certain situation and you have to overcome, like a bad day, and how do you do that? So it's different. So there's the one thing I explain in my first book. I always say, when you walk into, let's say, your aunt's house, and she says, oh yeah, yeah, take off your shoes, I just got this rug, I paid $25 for this rug, I don't want you to get the rug dirty. And you take off your shoes, but what we do on each other, we put all that schmutz on each other. And to understand that, and be more mindful of how we act, and if I feel something coming, and I call it a common crankosaurus. So saurus is a Jewish word for problems. So when I grew up in this Jewish household where it's like, oh, you think you have your saurus? If I had your saurus, I'd be doing cartwheels. Nobody could outdo my saurus. So I have this, I call it the common crankosaurus, where you might have a common cold where you have two in a year. A common crankosaurus, you might have three in the morning alone. So to understand, hey, it's okay. This is what happens with everybody. We get into these situations, and by knowing that, by understanding that, we're not we're not crumbling. We're not going into like a place like that bad place. We see it and we say, oh, it's okay. I talk about in my first book. Uh, I talk about how like parents tell kids to use their words, and I give an example of a kid who's really, really good at using his words or her words. Oh, I'm very angry. I'm very angry. I'm very angry. I'm very angry. All the time, I'm very angry. And you might think, wow, this kid is really good at using her words, but he's a really angry kind of kid. And by just saying, no, I'm this sweet, lovable kid who happens to have a common crankosaurus. It's so common that everybody has it. And you're showing the last surviving dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. And that is a book how all humans evolved from the smallest dinosaur, but the most dangerous dinosaur on the planet. And that's why we're all cranky. When you're born, we're all crying. We come out cranky into this world. So to embrace it and not trying to get rid of it, I think that's the message I'm trying to give.
Wow. I was looking at all of your books. How can crankiness be a superpower? I mean, I can be cranky, but I don't think it's a superpower. I mean, how did you do that?
So I could tell like two personal stories.
Okay.
So when I was in 1987, uh, I had gained, it was after law school, and I like to cook, and like also I'm not studying at night, and so we'll go out for a happy hour or whatever. So I gained a bit of weight, and I was around 240 pounds in December of '87, and so it was like 40 waist. So I within like 10 days, my girlfriend dumps me, my brand new car gets stolen, and then I lose my job. So, you see it's like a country music song, very sad song. And I decided no matter how tired I was going to the gym. And I started out 3 minutes on the life cycle and the beer, I'm dying. And within a year, actually 5.5 months, I was down to 155. Uh,
Mm.
and I lost 85 pounds in 5 months. And it's just like one thing led to another, led to another. And what I call about, when I talk about that, I talk about changing our normals. And people talk about changing your habits. And I always describe like a habit, no matter how great habits you have, they might be like a parking spot. You might end up moving the car at some point. A normal is just what you do. You don't question it. You don't like, it's just, you wake up in the morning and you do it. So in the middle of that, I started running. And a year later, I went from 3 minutes level one on a life cycle to being able to run a marathon. And like I'm up to 56 marathons and running another one in a month from now. Uh, so that's how, again, I was kind of cranky, and it became like that crankiness I turned into a superpower. Another funny story, my company was bought by another company, and I was an officer of that company, I'm an officer of this company, but they sent the officers out on this like assessment kind of thing. And they flew me to a castle in England, which, oh, I was all excited about doing this castle in England. But it was like 2 days of being on a laptop and these things flying at me, and you're running a company with the whatever, uh, super whatever Mario's flying around. So I got the results maybe a couple months later, and it said that on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, like level of energy, I scored a 1. I was like I was like a tree stump. And then on creativity, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the low, I scored a 1 also. So
Oh goodness.
uh, it wasn't too happy. I was a little cranky, and like after that, I've written before, but I've written legal articles, and I started posting stuff on LinkedIn, legal stuff, writing more articles, legal stuff, and then it one thing came to another, and I started writing like the kid books and then my cranky books. But what triggered that was this cranky moment saying, "Hey, you have no creativity. You're a one. And the people in the nursing home I was living with, the aides, never told me I was a one. So I'm just kidding. I wasn't living in a nursing home, but
Ah,
anyway, it's that sort of thing where you're overcoming uh, you're overcoming a certain difficulty, and then you're finding your superpower.
mm,
So in Cranky Superpowers, I have a story about this character. I have a number of chapters, Mr. Schlemiel, and he bought a chicken farm, but there was no chickens on the farm, and he saw a sign, first rodeo competition, and uh, and I make fun of, like, people always like to say, and this is from lawyers. I'll go into mediation, people pounding their fists on the table. This ain't my first rodeo. And the funny thing, I'm in New York, and none of these people ever been to a rodeo. They don't know anything about a rodeo. And of course, no one ever says the same thing about a circus. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm taking the kids to the circus. You don't sound too excited. Wasn't my first circus. It's not my first circus. But this Mr. Schlemiel, he kept going to the rodeo. He kept being falling off. He breaks his arms, his legs. He gets a concussion. He gets teeth knocked out of his mouth, and then he goes to the 10th rodeo, and he's able to, like the most toughest bull. He's able to stay on 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes, world record, and everybody wants to know, how did he do it? And he goes, it ain't my first rodeo. So, but again, he had to go through those cranky moments, but he was resilient, he kept at it, and that's how he had his superpower. So it was from the crankiness. And I
mm.
keep bringing up stories. I have a Cinderella story. I read through tell the story of Cinderella, and she doesn't get the gown, she doesn't get the carriage, she gets a megaphone, and she finds her voice. Her voice is her superpower. So again, like adversity, I redo the Wizard of Oz, and the lion gets to eat the wizard, so which was a lot of fun. The wizard needed to be eaten, but again, through, like, he had to find his courage, and being put in this position, finally he got so cranky he ended up eating the wizard, which I guess the wizard asked for it. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, cranky and superpowers, they actually could go together.
Wow. You have a lot of books. I mean, I was just going
I
through all
can't
of the
hear
books
you.
that you
You
had
got
on your
muted.
website. Huh?
All of a sudden you went out.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
yes. I
I
would
can't
love
hear
that.
you.
Can you hear me?
What happened?
I hear that you like cooking. That's what I hear. I heard it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The rumors are true. I do like cooking, and I talk about cooking being a superpower
Ooh.
because, yes. So, and there's no book called The Misery of Cooking or Cooking Really Sucks. There's the joy of cooking, and it's a chance to create, and like, there's organizational skills involved, and create like a presentation. I like the making a beautiful plate and making it look nice, and making really healthy stuff. uh, my mother was a great cook, so I kind of learned a bunch of stuff from my mom, and also partly because when you live in a house where your mother was an amazing cook, you end up getting in the bad habit of eating delicious food. So if now, I'm not living, my parents passed away, but so, I still like delicious food, and I like the way my mother prepared the food. So I learned a lot of stuff, and I like to do it.
Nice, nice. So you're a very positive person. I think that you put this in your books. Am I right? Like the self help, the positivity, the food, all of that.
yes. Yeah, I'm a positive person. Uh, I think even when something happens bad, yeah, my own personal life, things things turn out in ways I never expected. So I'm coming out soon, my sixth book, and that's one of the Snoodles books. I have Snoodles, Snoodles, Cadoodles, Poodles, and lots of noodles, Snoodles in space. Snoodle, the Zulu Cadoodles, One Happy Schmoodle, and coming out maybe next month, whenever. Snoodles in Space, Episode 2, the Zoodles Strike Back. So, yeah, so it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't planning on it, and things happen. I didn't plan on losing 85 pounds. It just happened, So like different things that uh, well, like wasn't I didn't write it up this way, but it just happened. So that's kind of my guide. That I'm on this ride. I don't know where it ends, but I'm enjoying the ride.
Definitely, definitely. I am so, so very happy to have you here. Writing children's books and then writing the other books and being cranky and positivity and self-help and food and all the stuff. You're getting ready to put out your sixth book. How does that
Yes.
feel for you? I mean, I know you say you didn't expect it, but okay, that wasn't in the plans, but now it is. How does that feel having so many books out and knowing now that you probably will never stop?
Uh, well, the kids' books, I'm amazingly blessed. Uh, I have this incredible illustrator, Andy Case. He lives in Nottingham. I just was there a few weeks ago. So, and all I do is like I leave Monday night, I get there Tuesday, I have dinner with him. We hung out Wednesday, and I fly back Thursday, just like to spend a day in Nottingham. And there's nothing, I don't think I've ever experienced anything as rewarding as collaborating with like such an amazing, like he's like a brother to me. It's just incredible person. And the it gets even more amazing because the book after this, I already wrote the story. Uh, the fourth Snoodles book, he still has to draw it up, and we're going to do like later in the year is called Snoodles in Space: Escape from Zoodletraz, and that's a music themed book. And the incredible thing is that Andy, my illustrator, also happens to be a musician. And he never told me about that. He never said, "Hey, by the way, I'm a rock star." But he just came out with this uh, album, A Leap of Faith, and I'm listening on Spotify, and every song is amazing. And the other thing about it is that it allows me a lot of the songs kind of fit in the story. So we're going to have a kids book, but we're also going to have like videos to go along and music to go along
That is
that uses, yeah, it's just like wow, like how did this happen?
yeah.
So that's uh, that's I crack up, every time I think about it. So there's one song he sings, "Should Have Sent a Card," and in that story, Cloodle the Grand Roodle, uh, he's from the planet. He runs the planet Zoodle, and he gets newspapers on Zoodle just like we get it on Earth, and he watches TV. And on Earth, Swifty Swoodle and the Doodles and going on this gazillion-dollar world tour, and Cloodle the Grand Roodle has his own band, Cloodle and the Grand Roodles, of course. So he decides to go to Earth and do his own concert tour, and he sucks. And like basically after one concert, the promoters canceled the tour, so he's like going back to Zoodle disgraced. And uh, so we have this video, and he ends up as an Oompadoodle in Chunky Chockadoodle's candy doodle factory. And so there's going to be this video, "Should Have Sent a Card," which is, I mean, it's hysterically funny.
Oh, that is gonna be so cool. That is
Yes.
just so it's kind of like a music video book.
Yes, there'll be music videos that, well, you have to get the book and then there'll be music videos. Or we
That
have
is
to figure that out, but it's going to be music videos and it's going to be like really, really fun.
Well, I think that that's amazing. I think that that's great that you can go to Nottingham and spend the time with him at least a day to and then come back the next day to get back with what you're doing. But I love, love, love what you're doing, and this is so cool. And the names, how did you come up with these names? Okay, Snoodle Noodles and Scoodle Goodles and
Yeah, no, it gets
who
like
did
in the
that?
next book. Uh, so yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I don't know, and I no drugs. I didn't take any drugs. So it's but so the next book is a take on Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. And like, in Charlie in the chocolate factory, you have Charlie, oh, he's a good kid. And then you have these kids that kind of misbehaving, little spoiled, bratty kids. And and I was thinking, wow, the press, the media it was a media circus. Even back in the first movie, you have all the TV cameras. So these kids probably were shamed. So I flipped a story to make these bad kids heroes at the end. So I have Frippy, Frumpy, Fruitle. You talk about like the funny names. Frippy, Frumpy, Fruitle, and Whippy, Whiny, Woodle, who are the two kids. And Frippy, Frumpy, Fruitle has the Fitsy, Witsy, Papa Doodle. And first he fits, and then he wits, and then he goes pop. And Whippy, Whiny, Woodle has a Swizzly, Twizzly, Slimadoodle. So first she swizzled, and then she twizzled, and then she turns into a bucket of slime. Thankfully, they did have the Slimer Doodle machine, so she was brought back to. But kids like, oh, they were mean. They called Frimpy Papa Doodle, or Wimpy Woodle Slimadoodle. So they end up being heroes at the end, which was very
You got
nice.
me cracking up over here. Okay, I'm crying. I'm crying, laughing. This is just too cute, and it just reminds me of how cute and how innocent really it is, and to hold on to that as a lawyer, that's hard.
Uh, I think what I do in the daytime is negotiation,
Uh-huh.
uh, and it's also about like listening to people, uh, so they could listen to you. That's very important. But people take on this serious kind of thing when they're lawyers, and I find humor to be very effective. It kind of melts things very quickly.
Mm.
And like even in Cranky Superpowers, I call it a help yourself book, not a self help book. But I want to be as ridiculous as possible in the stories, but also deadly serious with the message I want to attach to the stories.
Hmm.
So the stories will stick to you. You'll get amused, but the light bulb. I want the light bulb to go off in your head as well, saying, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, that is so good. That's so
Yeah.
cute. That's so good. We have your website up there. It's stephenjosephauthor.com. And I thank you so much for being on the show. If there was something that you could say, if there was a quote you could give, if there was some little droplet of whatever that you could leave that Mr. Stephen Joseph only you would say, what would it be?
Uh, wow, there's so many things that I think only I would say. Uh, well, you're talking about like a quick thing. So I tell people, like in my book, I have this chapter, make up stuff, Crankosaurus, and I like to flip things around where you think, and I've had a life where you go back to the office and say, wow, you can't make that stuff up because it's crazy. It's the exact opposite, where you have the same routine. You wake up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, you sit in front of the computer, you're doing different day, same stuff. You're getting into a rut. And that to me is, I can't make that stuff up. So it encourages people to create, make stuff up, and I know as a writer, like I've had family members saying, "Oh, you're not going to make money, uh, writing books," and I always tell people, uh, "This is coming from me, coming from the heart. It's always important to make yourself." And that if you're making yourself every single day, you'll discover amazing things about yourself that you didn't even know, and that could be your cranky superpower.
Oh wow. You're right. You're right. Wow. Well, Mr. Stephen Joseph, thank you so much for being on the show. I truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, Yaya.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything that we left out today?
Oh, we have like a few days. I could keep talking, but
We do. I don't. Well, we
I know.
could, but maybe next time we can come back on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's you're gonna have to come back on. When the next book comes out, will you come back?
Sure. My pleasure. That'll be fun.
I think that would be great. And I can't wait to receive the book because I gotta show the people what it looks like. Because I think I think your artistry, the illustrator, is amazing. I'm
Amazing.
looking at
And
the
you
books.
have to check out his album, Andy Case, Leap of Faith. If you have Spotify, you could get it on YouTube. You can listen to the songs on YouTube. He's
Awesome.
great. He's great. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, yeah, you have to check that out.
We definitely have to do that. We're going to have the information in the description box below, not only for Mr. Stephen Joseph's books, but also for Mr. Andy Case's new music. And also his illustrations are in those books too. So you don't want to miss the collaboration that they have going on. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, be good and oodle noodles and eat more noodles and scoodle doodles.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for watching.